Have you ever thought about the difference between knowledge and wisdom? We live in a world overflowing with information, books, lectures, podcasts, the internet at our fingertips. But wisdom is something deeper. Wisdom is the ability to see beyond the surface, to understand the meaning behind events, and to apply knowledge in the right way. Surah Al-Kahf, the 18th chapter of the Quran, gives us one of the most profound lessons about this difference through the story of Prophet Moses and a mysterious man known as Khidr. This story is not just about two people. It is about every one of us who has ever asked, "Why is this happening to me?" Moses, one of the greatest prophets, was once asked if anyone on earth was more knowledgeable than him. Confident in his position, he replied, "No." But God reminded him that true knowledge is not limited to one person. So Moses was guided to meet a man blessed with special wisdom, Khidr. Moses set out on a journey, determined to learn. When they finally met, Khidr warned him, "You will not be able to have patience with me." Moses insisted, promising he would remain patient and not question him. But as the story unfolds, we see how difficult that promise becomes. Together, they embarked on a journey, and Khidr did three strange things that shocked Moses. First, they boarded a ship. Khidr damaged it by making a hole in its side. Moses was horrified. "Have you done this to drown its people?" Second, they encountered a young boy. Khidr took the boy's life. Moses was outraged. "You have killed an innocent soul without right?" Third, they came to a town where people refused to offer them hospitality. Yet Khidr repaired a broken wall in that town. Moses, confused, asked, "Why fix a wall for people who refuse to feed us?" Each time, Moses broke his promise and questioned Khidr. And each time, Khidr reminded him, "Didn't I say you wouldn't have patience with me?" Finally, Khidr explained the wisdom behind his actions. The ship belonged to poor fishermen. By damaging it slightly, he protected it from being seized by a king who was confiscating every good ship. The small damage saved them from total loss. The boy was destined to bring grief and disbelief to his righteous parents. His death, though painful, was a mercy, for God would replace him with a better child. The wall hid a treasure belonging to orphans. By repairing it, Khidr ensured the treasure would remain safe until they grew up and could claim it. Suddenly, what looked like harm was revealed to be hidden mercy. What looked unfair was actually divine justice. What seemed senseless was, in fact, part of a greater plan. This story teaches us a profound truth. Knowledge is knowing the facts, but wisdom is understanding the deeper purpose. Moses had knowledge. He was a prophet of God, a messenger with the Torah. Yet Khidr had wisdom of the unseen, knowledge of how today's pain could protect tomorrow's blessing. How often do we react like Moses? When something bad happens, we immediately cry out, "Why me? Why now?" We see the hole in our ship, but not the king who wants to take it. We see the loss of something dear, but not the greater good waiting ahead. We see rejection, but not the treasure being protected for our future. The story of Moses and Khidr is not just history. It's a mirror for our lives. When you lose a job, maybe it's saving you from a path that would have harmed your faith. When a relationship ends, perhaps it's to protect you from future pain and prepare you for someone better. When plans collapse, maybe God is repairing a wall that hides a treasure you cannot see yet. Wisdom is learning to trust that what looks like a setback might be a setup for something greater. The Quran emphasizes patience repeatedly. Patience is not passive. It's an active trust in God's plan. Surah Al-Kahf shows us that even a prophet as great as Moses struggled with patience when faced with things he couldn't understand. So it's natural that we too struggle. But the reminder is clear. God's wisdom extends beyond what we see. This is why the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, encouraged us to recite Surah Al-Kahf every Friday. It protects us, reminds us, and strengthens our trust. In a world full of uncertainty, it anchors us to faith in God's wisdom. Wisdom beyond knowledge. That's the heart of this story. Knowledge may tell us what is happening. Wisdom teaches us why it might be happening and how we should respond. The lesson of Surah Al-Kahf is simple yet profound. Life is full of hidden purposes. The broken ship, the lost child, the repaired wall, they are all reminders that God's plan is bigger than our perspective. So the next time you face something confusing or painful, remember the story of Moses and Khidr. Trust that behind the curtain of events there is wisdom at work. What feels like a storm today may turn out to be the protection, the mercy, or the treasure of tomorrow. And that is the gift of Surah Al-Kahf. Not just knowledge of stories, but wisdom for life.